Hi. Developing an intrinsic motivated child should be one of the main goals of any parent. Intrinsically motivated simply means that they do things because it's the right thing. They do things because it's important to them versus needing to be told by an adult or an authority figure that here's your consequence if you don't do this. If you don't pick up your toy, you're going to go to timeout. They don't pick up their toy just because they feel like that's the right thing to do. So, how do we develop a child into an intrinsically motivated human? Well, we have to think about where we start, which is really with that internal locus of control. So as we're parenting our children from a young age, as they get into the adolescent years, we have to make them feel and give them opportunities to feel like what they do matters, right? The choices that they make impact their surroundings. If they don't have freedom of choice, if they don't have the ability to make choices, they're never going to put two and two together that like what I do as a person is going to impact the world around me. So you can ask simple questions as they're growing up, like, hey, would you like the kale or the spinach? Right? It sounds easy for us to do, but for them, that gives them that sense of control. As they're growing up, a lot of parents make this mistake, and I usually try to correct it if possible. Parents often reward outcomes. So, hey, you had a great basketball game today. You scored 20 points. Like, so proud of you. Instead of, hey, like I saw how hard you were working out there. You played so hard. You played so well. You were a great teammate. I could see what you were doing, right? Or you're so smart is not as good as I saw how hard you studied and I saw how diligent you were. We want to create that causal impact or that cause and effect of when you do this, these things happen, and it instills that internal locus of control. There's a landmark study, and you're going to have to just take my word on it because I looked it up and I couldn't find it, but I know I read about it when I was an undergrad. And it was a tennis player that they had basically the control group was a tennis camp with tennis pros, and they took pre and post measurements of performance for these campers, these tennis players, and then they had an experimental group where the tennis players or the coaches never played tennis in their life. They knew nothing about it. They just dressed up people that were coaches in this experiment to like hold a racket and look like they knew what they were doing. The only thing that they were told to do is just ask the participants, the campers, why do you think your serve went long? Why do you think it went in? Why do you think you did this well? Like, why did that work? All they were told to do is just ask questions to get the person that was trying to improve to think about what was going on, what was the process. At the end of that experiment, you'd think, right, based on like how we do things in the world, that the professional, the one with like very serious instruction with the professional coaches would have improved. Those campers would have improved, but it wasn't. It was the campers that were asked to internalize, figure out what they were doing, how they were having impact on their swing, and they actually outperformed the professional coaches. I think that's crazy. And I think that really bodes well if we're trying to raise an intrinsically motivated child, teenager, or even a young adult in some of our cases. So I want you to look for those opportunities to build up that causation. Look for ways to build up that internal locus of control that your child has impact on their surroundings. And if you do that, you'll be well on your way to raising an intrinsically motivated child. Good luck.